Kind folks at DynoVox sent me this kit here. 304 stainless steel up pipes, 2-inch in diameter. That's an upgrade from the 1.75 inch of the steel OEM pipes. Comes with everything you see here, the 2 pipes, bolt kit, and some gaskets. One very nice thing that I appreciate about these pipes is that they are already ported. They are gasket matched on both sides, so that saves me quite a few hours of grinding. Now, I did grind down my OEM pipes, and that does make a bit of a difference when you port match things. So I was happy to see that. We have some nice welds here. Show you the other ones. Pretty nice. So one issue that you're going to come across with the OEM pipes, especially on these old LB7 Duramaxes, whose pipes are well over 20 years old now, 25 years old for mine, or 24 I guess, 24 years old. The issue with the OEM pipes is that they are steel, prone to rust, they are a bit thinner, so they wear through over time, and these always blow out on you as well. And so it's going to be a matter of when, not if, your up pipes blow out. And so this is a nice upgrade, direct bolt-on version. I got a link in the kit. Our test subject is, of course, Pig, the Alaskan Overland Rig. Pig's a 2001 LB7 Duramax GMC Sierra, 3500 crew cab long bed dually with a freshly rebuilt camper bolted down to it. If you frequented Kushtka Garage, you know this is the centerpiece of the channel. Alright, we have a little break in the weather here. It's finally stopped raining, so we're going to go ahead and remove these pipes. If you've never done this before, or it hasn't been done on your truck in decades, it's going to be a bear of a project. I do have a complete tutorial on how to remove the downpipe, the up pipes, and the manifolds if you're going that far, and even the turbo and the heads, and how to change the injectors. All separate videos, but if you're going for a deep dive and you're overhauling your truck anyways, I do have a step-by-step guide on how to do all of that. And those bolts hadn't been removed in who knows how long. They were super difficult, so I had to use various mechanisms, and in those videos I show you everything I did. You can watch me struggle on every bolt. We're not going to do that this time. I'll show you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do it. This video is more about showcasing the pipes than it is struggling on every bolt. But I did replace all the bolts, ran some thread cleaner through all of the holes and everything, and I put anti-seize on. It's been about 4 years, so I'm hoping it's going to be significantly easier than it was. But let's get into it. First thing you're going to want to do is remove your covers. Those are just the simple little plastic pop rivets. And that'll allow you access to your down pipes, your up pipes, and all your bolts. We got 3 bolts down here for that one. And of course, the other 2 are on the turbo. Since this is an LB7 Duramax, not any of the newer ones, instead of a simple band clamp to get rid of the downpipe, you have a series of bolts. I can't remember how many, maybe 6 or 8 or so. It's going to be a bunch. On top here, a couple on bottom, and once you get that out of the way, then you can access the downpipe bolts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove this downpipe. There's one band clamp down there on the bottom that connects to your exhaust, and all the rest are bolts. Passenger side is going to be quite a bit easier than the driver's side, because as you see, we can't even see the driver's side in here. So I'll be accessing that from down below, but it's going to be a similar process, just a bit more of a pain to get to. Ooh, here comes the sun. Alright, so I'm going to start in on it, and I'll check back in with you when I get that down pipe removed. Okay, down pipe removed. Wasn't that bad at all. These bolts are still in great condition. And the anti-seize worked. So it's going to be 412 millimeters. And there's 2 studs. And my bolt size for the studs is 14 millimeter. The real bear is going to be getting off these rusted exhaust bolts. I did a little tester, stripped that one, but I did break it loose a little bit, so it is going to come out. This one broke free pretty easily. Hopefully this will be the only problem child out of all of them. I haven't tried the rear one yet, but I'm going to go ahead, get in here, see what we can do. Okay, bolts out. Should just come right out like this. There's the old one. All nice and ported. And there they are side by side. This one's wrapped up, but it looks still in all right condition. They are the same size, so that should just bolt right back on. Okay, we're over here on the driver's side. It's a little trickier to get to, but not impossible. There's just more stuff in the way. So I got it soaking with some penetrating oil right now. I'm gonna go ahead and start cracking them loose. Okay, driver's side is a bit of a pain to get out, but with just a bunch of wiggling it does come out of the engine bay through the back. This bottom side gets all snagged up, but it comes out. Okay, here's the old set next to the new set. Everything looks to be as it should. Get our parts side by side. The only thing I have left to do now is wrap the new pipes and some of that heat wrap and reinstall. Okay, new pipes are all wrapped up. You can definitely tell there's a little bit of a height difference here. This being the new pipe, a 2-inch diameter. Old pipe's 1.75. So fitment's going to be tricky, but installation, I'm going to do the same thing in reverse. We're going to start with the driver's side because that's the most difficult, has the most clearance issues, and then the passenger side, and then the up pipe, and then we'll bolt on the exhaust, put back on our fender wells, and I'll see you when that is all done, and we'll go take it for a little test drive, a little rip ski, and do a startup test and everything, and see if there's a sound difference, see if there's a performance difference, and I'll let you know how it goes. I just noticed the flanges are a little thicker too here. A little nicer flanges. Okay, here we go. Pipes are in and cinched down. Now I just got to put on the down pipe, reconnect the exhaust, fire it up. going to do a little test run here. I'm using the OBD Link Max or MX Plus. What this little gadget does here provides you a variety of diagnostics for all your DTS systems and readouts of your mass airflow sensor, and has a big old dashboard and everything. Connects to Bluetooth on your phone or a tablet. But one of the cool features that it does, it'll do a 0 to 60 time, it'll do quarter mile, eighth mile time, and it'll also calculate your horsepower and torque. And that's going to be at the crank, of course. And I don't know exactly how it does it, but I imagine it uses a variety of sensors. It uses probably the MAF sensor, wheel speed sensors, air fuel ratio, and whatever else it has at its disposal. It also will calculate your turbo PSI. And I have an actual gauge right here. And this is for EGTs. But I have an actual turbo gauge right here. And this unit calculates exactly what my actual unit shows as well. So it does pretty good calculations. So we're going to do a little 0 to 60 and see what the horsepower and torque reading is. The highest that I've ever seen on this truck is a little over 600 horsepower and a little over 1,200 pounds of torque. But we'll see. It's a different day. It's raining. I got a camper on board. I'm in my tow tune. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in and then show you what I'm working with, and then we'll go take a couple of passes, and then this will be our before the up pipe install. All right, here's my dashboard set up right now. Engine temp just under 180, and that's pretty close. RPMs right around 620-ish, which seems about right. There's the MAF. Engine torque around 360, just idling, 42 ponies at idle. So let's go ahead and take a couple passes and see what happens. This is going to be it's going to be kind of a roll into it. You know, it's wet. I got a big truck with a camper on it. I don't want to rip the camper off, so we'll just kind of ease into it, and then once we're rolling, we'll let her rip and see what kind of numbers we can produce. No leaks, no cracks, just pure uncut spool. DynoVox just helped me make my Duramax a little bit more indestructible. So, fitment issues that you're going to have with OEM pipes as well, and every up pipe on your driver's side is going to be caused by this heat shield. I had the same issue when I was reinstalling my OEM pipes, and definitely had that issue again. So I just took off this heat shield. It's 310 millimeters, and then that up pipe slipped right in place. I mean, I was driving, so I didn't get to see the final numbers for the horsepower and torque. I think it was pretty much the same, which is kind of what I would expect. I mean, pig's not tuned up super high or anything. I'm on my tow tune and still making around 500 horsepower, a little bit over. So that's respectable enough for me. That's going to keep things from blowing up. But for the up pipes, where they shine is they are a lot more solid than the OEM pipes. My OEM pipes are original, super thin, and they are very prone to cracking. And if you're making, you know, 600 horsepower on up, those up pipes are not long for this world. They're going to heat up to the point that they are definitely going to crack. So it's only going to be a matter of time. If your pipe's already cracked, you're looking for an upgrade, definitely check these out. Fitment was no issue. Installing was no issue. They are about as easy and difficult as installing OEM pipes. So, and if you don't want them, your OEM pipes will remind you why you should have. All right, guys, that is it. I'm going to get out of here for the day, go clean up, get some food, move on to the next project. See you on the next one.